This is Kerrigan and Company. Banking shouldn't feel transactional. It should feel personal. At Rockland Trust Bank, we take the time to get to know what matters for your business so we can support what comes next, not just today, but for years to come. Because when you have a banker who knows your business, understands your goals, and sees your vision, that partner can make all the difference. Come bank where your relationship matters. Rockland Trust Bank, where each relationship matters. Go to rocklandtrust.com for more information. Member FDIC. You can't travel without laughter and a good book. We'll explain on this episode of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Kerrigan and Company today. So good to have you with us. So are you starting to make your summer travel plans? If you are and you can't decide exactly where you'd like to go, my co-host today has got all the answers for you, I can tell you. He has been a writer for the Boston Globe, the travel writer for the Boston Globe, and a columnist for years. And I was just complimenting him moments ago about the fact that he writes about exotic places, but he writes about places that all of us can go. And he looks at them objectively. And this is what I love about Chris Muther. It's so good to see you.
It's great to see you, Kim.
You know, we have not seen each other for such a long time. I was telling my producer, when I was on Fox, you had like a regular segment with us, and you were there.
I did.
Yeah, and you were there all the time, which was so fun.
Goes to show how long ago it was.
I know, I know, and we both still look so great. I can't even imagine.
Time has stood still over here.
Absolutely,
right?
It has stood still. How long have you been writing for the Globe?
I've been at the Globe for 25 years.
Oh my gosh!
I've been doing travel for 10 of those 25.
You started as a style writer.
Yeah,
I guess
even
is what
before
I
that,
say, right?
I was doing pop music, pop culture, and then transitioned into style and then into travel. So I've had like all these different careers within the Globe. I've been there forever, but it feels like I haven't because I kind of keep changing it up.
So I'm curious as to how that kept morphing itself. How did that happen?
A combination of restlessness and just reaching a point, for instance, with fashion. And Boston. There's only so much you can write about.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point where you sort of hit a bit of a wall.
Yeah.
And then I was ready for something new. And on the pop culture side of it, I didn't want to be like one of those guys who's like my age now trying to pretend he's hip. So it was like everything worked out nicely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I got to tell you, I think that if I could come back in another life, I would want to be a travel columnist like you are, because it just seems so exciting. It seems so great. And has it lived up to the expectations that you thought it would?
It has. The thing which a lot of people don't realize is it's so much work. I don't think I've ever worked this hard in my life, because you're on the road, you're at one place, you're writing about another, you're making plans for another. Imagine that we go on vacation like a few times a year, but that's your life,
right?
Over and over. Like the plans we make for trips and all of that. And then imagine you're making it for somebody else.
Yeah.
So it has to be more interesting. It can't just be what you want to do.
Sure.
It has to be sort of a broader perspective. So in that sense, it's an always sort of evolving, moving process. So it's never like, so I'm in a place, I'm trying to absorb it as much as possible, but my brain is always thinking about what I'm going to write about.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Well, it does make sense, because you're trying to see it through the general public's eyes versus, your eyes.
Exactly.
And because you're not on vacation, you're working. And that's I totally get that. I really do. It seems like travel is so difficult, too, at this stage of the game.
It is.
I mean, that part of it has to make it hard work as well.
The whole unpredictable side of air travel.
Oh.
The whole TSA thing was just wreaked havoc on my life. Weather is always, you never know what you're going to encounter any time of the year. And international travel now, they just instituted a new, they're no longer stamping your passport when you get to Europe. They're doing biometrics, and people haven't quite gotten the feel for it yet.
Right.
And so there's lines of 2 or 3 hours at some of the airports in Europe right now. So it's always something but the great thing about my job is I get to tell people that these are the things that they need to watch out for when they're traveling.
I got to ask you about that because I have a trip planned overseas, and I'm going to have to get the whole lowdown on what I need and what I have to do. I'm going to cheat the system because I've got an inside track here. How often are you traveling? I mean, meaning from the Globe's perspective, how often do they want you out, and how often?
It really depends. You know, for instance, I will go through fits and starts of travel.
Okay.
Like I'll really boom, 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 and then I'll do some local. So sometimes my job is just writing about trends in travel, as opposed to actually being on the road. And it's that combination, which is good because I started 100 years ago as a news reporter, and I still love writing about news and the business side of it all. So I get to do some of that. But to answer your question, I would say maybe half the year I'm traveling, maybe a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
But some of that is New England travel, international travel, all over the place. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to learn more about some of your favorite places. We're going to talk about all those kinds of things. So that's still to come. So folks, we're going to reap the benefits of having Chris here to learn more about some of your favorite places you've traveled, some places that you suggest people don't waste their money traveling, which I think is important. Let me just very quickly ask you this: Do places contact you and say, gosh, we'd really like for you to visit our resort? Or do you reach out and hear, of ideas and that kind of thing? And the answer is probably yes.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, places will reach out to me, but when I go, and sometimes I'll go, sometimes I won't, but I'll never let them know I'm there. I keep it all on the DL because as you said, objective. And I don't want to be treated differently than anybody else because then my story would be different.
Sure. So you're not the guy in the back of the room who's taking down notes
I just have my secret phone recorder going so no one knows.
I love that. That's fantastic. We do this thing here called the Rockland Trust Fast Five.
Okay.
So this is rapid fire questions. Fast Five is brought to us by, as I mentioned, Rockland Trust Bank, where each relationship matters. Visit your nearest branch or go to rocklandtrust.com to learn more. All right, Chris, 30 seconds to answer 5 questions. Are you ready? Here
Not
we
really,
go.
but
Sure you are. Favorite place for a weekend getaway here in New England?
Agunquit, Maine.
Where in the world would you like to travel that you haven't been to yet?
Vietnam.
Favorite clothing designer for men?
There's a Spanish brand called El Ganzo, which means the goose.
Other than your own, what's your favorite column to read at the Boston Globe?
Beth Titel.
And window seat or aisle?
Aisle.
There you go. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. Chris tells me that he is getting ready to leave for Korea. Have you ever been?
I've never been, no.
So this could be your favorite place after
you go. It could be. You
right?
never know. And then sometimes it's my favorite place until I have to sit down and write the story.
Well.
And then I'm shaking my fist.
And you're like, oh, gosh, why? So we're going to talk to Chris a little bit more about where he's headed, where he has been. And I'm going to ask Chris about some of his favorite places for 2026. So some suggestions for everybody who's listening and who's watching for making those travel plans. But we've got a big show, and we're going to get started. I'm very excited about this. We have a comedian who's going to join us. She's from here in the Boston area, and she was a writer for Saturday Night Live. She's had a number of her own shows on HBO, and she's just coming back from Down Under, where she's been involved in a big show down there as well. So stay with us, everybody. It's a fun show. Chris Muther from the Boston Globe is with me today. This is Kerrigan and Company. Some banks focus on transactions. At Rockland Trust, we focus on people. Relationships come first because financial success isn't built in a single meeting or a single moment. It's built over time by listening and showing up, by being in your corner through every stage of life or business. Come bank where your relationship matters. Rockland Trust, where each relationship matters. Member FDIC. Do you need to buy new technology? Let AGI Beacon help you buy better tech for less. The team at AGI Beacon understands technology from the inside out. AGI Beacon provides expert guidance to help businesses navigate complex technology decisions with clarity. With AI transforming business operations at an unprecedented pace, having the right advisory partner is no longer an option. Go to agibeacon.com today to learn how they can help you with all your technology needs. That's agibeacon.com.
The rhythm is gonna get you. On Your Feet is the electrifying musical story of Emilio and Gloria Estefan, June 3rd through June 14th at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. Tickets at nsmt.org.
This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Allure Matchmaking. Your forever after is waiting for you. Find them through Allure Matchmaking. Go to allurematchmaking.com today. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan & Company. So good to have you with us today. And, of course, keeping me company today is Chris Muther, an old friend of mine, and it's so good that we're getting a chance to kind of reconnect. It's great to see you.
Not that old.
No, you're
yes.
a longtime friend. That's what I should have said, right?
I like that, yes.
So, and Chris is going to tell us a whole lot more about some of his travels here in just a bit. But before, we're about to make a new friend here, and I'm very excited about it. A lot of people in the audience I know this funny lady. Sam J is from right here in the Boston area, and she's going to be here in the Boston area very soon. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that. But this comedian has joined us, and she's a writer. She's a comedian. Are you going to be an actress at some point, Sam?
I've been in movies before, so I guess you can say I'm an actress.
There you go. Absolutely. Great to see you.
Hey, how are you?
I am terrific. A girl from right here in the Boston area.
Yeah. I'm from Dorchester.
How long have you been away?
I don't know now. Maybe like 11 years, something like that.
Yeah. Well, do you get back very often?
Oh, yeah. My whole family's still there, so I go home pretty often.
Super. That's great. Chris and I were talking about this off the air, and I actually saw you being interviewed. You were down in Melbourne, right, for a big comedy festival, which looked like it was a ton of fun. But I had the chance to see you being interviewed and talking about your experience on Saturday Night Live. Tell our listeners a little bit about your Saturday Night Live gig.
What do you want to know? I was a writer.
We just want to know all the dirt, really.
Yeah.
I was a writer there for 3 years, for 3 seasons. It was hard but fun, but it was hard for sure. Yeah. It was my first writing job, so it was a lot to try to figure out in a short period of time, but I guess I got it because I didn't get fired. I don't really know what you want to know, but I guess I could just say it was a great experience for me, and I feel like without it, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of what I did after, because it's super educational for sure.
I wanted to ask you on the SNL side of it. Is there a particular sketch that was memorable for you, either that it was amazing or you were really surprised that it bombed?
I guess the Chadwick Boseman Black Jeopardy sketch was pretty fun and memorable to do.
Loved it.
I know. Yeah.
He was just a great sport, and it was just a fun time. Usually if it bombs, you don't get to see it. So not any surprise bombs in there. And I guess Eddie Murphy, just because it was Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Wow.
I got to tell you that it was cool because obviously when the big anniversary happened a year and a half, 2 years ago, it was a lot of fun because we got a real behind the scenes look at what was going on there at SNL. They sort of opened up the curtain, and I think to be a writer there would be one of the most difficult jobs that exists in any kind of entertainment. I mean, you guys would start on Tuesdays, and would you leave before Saturday?
Yeah, you gotta go home. You just come back a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. You had some late nights there, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, writers' night is usually a pretty late night every Tuesday night. Depending on your sketch load that week, but typically we're all writing like three to four sketches on a Tuesday. So most people don't leave until like, midnight, 1, 2, 3. Um, and then you come back for table read on Wednesday, and then you're into the week and the writers' tables and stuff like that to get the show ready for Saturday. So the schedule is pretty intense.
You're an incredibly funny lady. Were you surprised? Because you said this is like one of your first gigs that, really sort of gave you this open door. Were you surprised by the reaction of, I know, as you looked around the table and you looked at faces that you'd known for a long time or you recognized, were you surprised by their reaction to you? What was this excitement like? It had to have been great, because I know you said a lot of table reads, you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, but at first I wasn't. When I first started, and I didn't even really know how to write sketches. So, it was a lot of failure at the top of it. Then a little success, and a little success turned into some more success type of thing. So it was definitely a slow burn. I don't want to give the impression that like out the gate I was just like killing it. I was not by any means killing it. So I guess like looking around the table, I don't know. I don't think you're even paying attention to that stuff at that point. You're just trying to like survive. Mm-hmm. You're trying not to be fired. You're trying just to like swim upstream. You're not really like, oh my God, it's such a so like that kind of all goes to the wayside.
Sure. You left SNL to do your own gig. Tell me a little bit about what that experience is like, because now you've been a writer for other people, but now you're taking your own stuff to a stage and you're doing your own stuff. That had to have felt differently.
Yeah, I guess I guess I was always doing stand-up, so I was kind of always doing my own thing. I started as a stand-up, so we're kind of always writing for ourselves, but taking on a production like Pause. And, I had 2 seasons of that show on HBO. It was like a late night show. So that was a different bag to like dig into. And I kind of approached it in a different way, late night. So, I mean, for me, it was just fun. It was just taking all the education and everything I had learned at SNL and applying it in this new scenario. And it was just cool to see my ideas come to life and be able to put something out, that was completely generated by me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Did you do stand-up in Boston? Did you kind of start on stages here? And if you did, what was that like?
I started in Boston.
Your own house.
I started in Boston. Like when I first started, I would go to like New Hampshire and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I just figured no one else would see me that knew me out there. So if it was bad, it didn't have a lot of consequence. And then I started to like move into the city. So I would say in the city, I kind of got my start between like Slade's in Roxbury. They used to do a black night once a week. I feel like it was like Wednesday nights. And then I used to do the Comedy Studio in Cambridge a lot. Because it was like one of the only clubs that was like a club that had shows during the week. Other than that, you had like Nick's Comedy Stop that was like only on the weekends, So the Comedy Studio was like the one club where you could work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then it's just a ton of bar shows. There was just so many bar shows in the city, all around. There was like Rogies over there by BU. There was Grandma's Basement, which used to be in the Chinese food restaurant inside that Howard Johnson's by Fenway. So
That's great.
There were just a bunch of bar shows around the city that everyone could do.
I love it. Are those good memories?
Yeah, for sure. It was also new and exciting.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Sam, I got to tell you, we've had a number of comedians on, a number from here in Boston, because the comic world here in Boston is deep, And I always say the same thing to comedians. Number one, you're really smart. Comedians are smart because you are on your feet when you're in front of a crowd. If you're not smart, they're going to eat you alive. So that's number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, I'm always interested in knowing, what do you think is funny?
Random stuff. I don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a joke. I feel like, yeah, sometimes it's stand up. Not that I don't think stand up is funny. I just think I watch it a little differently. So stand up rarely makes me like laugh out loud, even if I find it to be very funny. But I really just find like the mundane stuff funny, the day to day stuff. My girlfriend makes me laugh a lot. I think she's funny.
Yeah.
You know, things my cat does. Just random stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I love a comedian who can get on stage and make fun of stuff that I've done that day. You know what I mean? Just everyday stuff. If you can find humor in what people do every day, I think people can really relate to it, you know? And so I was curious as to what you think is funny and who you like to watch. How's the tour?
It is long. I'm tired, but it's been fun. It's been fun. But
Good.
it's been a minute, so I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie, but it was dope to be in Australia for a month, you know, and do shows out there and just kind of see how the material played in a whole another space. So even though that was like a long run, it was like really worth it. And then I get to come home and do a show this weekend. At the Wilbur, which is, you know, exciting and always a good time.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, did you have to adjust your material for Australian
Good question.
audiences? I
Yeah.
mean, were there some references that people just there would not necessarily get?
Not really, like little stuff like I have a joke where I say Judge Joe Brown, but they don't have Judge Joe Brown, so I had to say Judge Judy because they have Judge Judy, but like not not really. I think the internet makes the world really small.
Yeah.
You know?
Sam,
In a lot of ways.
I actually was really surprised. I was watching one of your performances down there, and you were talking about Trump, and they totally got where you were coming from. And I wondered, that was the first thing I thought too, was, wow, you know, she's in another country, and you know that people would be picking that up here, but I was surprised to see how well that was received there and how hard they laughed. I mean, they really appreciated it.
Yeah. They were pretty like hip to stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Coming back to the Wilbur, is it good?
Yeah. I like coming home.
You're not nervous. You don't get nervous when you get to the home crowd, do you?
No, not really. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Do people come see you that you know and you've known for a long time?
Of course. Yeah. Like my school and my family will usually always pull up. So yeah, there's always like some familiar faces out there.
That's so good. That's so great. What's coming up for you after this? It sounds like some rest, number one.
Yeah, so hopefully some sleep. a little bit of rest, and then I'll be in LA for Netflix Is a Joke. So a couple of shows out there. I'm doing my own show out there Wednesday, May something. I don't know what week it is anymore, but I'll be out there at the Peppermint Lounge, and then doing like a benefit for the Dodgers, and doing Shane Gillis Friends at the Hollywood Bowl. So what's next is Netflix Is a Joke, and then hopefully a nap.
Yeah, good for you. Well, listen, continued success. It's fun to watch the hometown gal do so well. We really appreciate it. At the Wilbur this weekend, everybody, and go to Ticketmaster. It's on May the 2nd, and there are a few tickets left, so be sure you check it out. Sam J., thanks for being with us. Best of luck.
Thank you so
travel
much.
safely and get some rest. All right, everybody, we'll take a break. You're listening to Kerrigan and Company. If you're tired of endless swiping, superficial chats, and first dates that go nowhere, it might be time for something different. Allure Matchmaking offers a refined, confidential, and human-centered approach to finding love. For more than 2 decades, executive matchmaker Jill Vander has coached and personally hand-selected matches for successful, discerning singles. No dating apps, no public profiles, just curated, meaningful introductions with people who truly align with your goals, values, and lifestyle. If you're ready to meet someone of your echelon, visit allurematchmaking.com and level up your dating life. It was a cold, miserable New England winter, and we all felt the effects. Even our skin took a beating. If you're looking for a fabulous skin refresh this spring, visit my friends at Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa in Beverly and sign up for their 3-session chemical peel package. They use medical-grade chemicals that'll clean your pores and strip your skin of those winter doldrums. And the best part? No downtime. Set up an appointment today. Go to siennaaesthetics.com. That's siennaaesthetics.com. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by the North Shore Music Theater. See On Your Feet, the story of Emilio and Gloria Estefan, played June 3rd through the 14th. Get your tickets at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. Good to have you along. Keeping me company today is, of course, Chris Muther from the Boston Globe. And it was fun to talk to Sam. I think that when you don't do your gig like that in front of the hometown crowd and then you come back, I don't care what she says, that's got to be a little unnerving.
Oh, for sure. Like with family there and friends. And like some material is derived from, and it doesn't matter who the comedian is. That's exactly. Like the basis. So you probably have to be, very alert of what you're saying.
Absolutely. You're so right. Everybody in the crowd is going, is that about me? Mm-hmm. Listen, a new book out. It just came out this week. I'm going to hold the book up for everybody. And it is written by a local author, which is so cool, over on the Vineyard, Emma Brodie. This is Into the Blue. It is a love story. And something that's really interesting about this, Chris, I have to tell you, the main character in this book wants to be on SNL, which is ironic because Sam J was a writer for SNL. So we have that string that runs through.
What are the chances, right?
The chances are 0. It's a little bit crazy. But here she is. Good to see you, Emma. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, great to see you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. Into the Blue. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I know. What a wild ride. It's out.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how you feel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chris, I don't know if you are familiar because you're on the Vineyard, but Chris is the travel writer for the Boston Globe. And I feel confident you feel the same way every time you release it. You're like, oh, it's out. That one.
Pretty much. Though a book, I can imagine, is like, it's like gestation of an elephant for, as opposed to a news article is 9 months. Right. She's got years and years and years of gestation there. Yes. So I feel for you.
Well, Emma, how long was this one in the making? How long was it?
This I began in the summer of 2023. So it's been several years.
Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And this is your second book. Your first one, a bestseller. A New York Times bestseller. And that was Song in Ursa Major, correct?
Songs in Ursa Major, exactly.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. Congratulations to you. But a lot of pressure, right? Then book number 2, don't you feel you had to have felt a little pressure?
Definitely. I think that's why it took so long. So had to go off, convince myself the world had forgotten me, and then work on this one in a state of conclave. But here we are, made it.
Yeah, and it's getting rave reviews, by the way. So congratulations to you. Tell everybody about the book. It's a love story. And as I mentioned, the main character, this woman, she wants to be on SNL. But tell everybody just a little bit about the book.
Sure, yeah. So Into the Blue is an epic love story. It begins in the year 2000 with AJ and Noah, who are very young, working at a video store, and they forge this deep cosmic connection for one beautiful summer, and then Noah disappears without a word. The story then picks up 7 years later, where they're working on the same cult television show, and the truth of his disappearance comes out, and it sort of rocks their entire world. So the book flows for 13 years, and it follows them through all their ups and downs, sort of weaving apart, weaving together, and ultimately, it's about two people figuring out sort of what lights them up and what their lives would really look like if they pursue that.
Mm-hmm. Now, the question I always have for authors, because everything I write is based in the real world, and fiction, you can have a little fun with it. But how much of your real life goes into a fictional book? And also, so is there some man in your life who had come in and disappeared and you sort of wondered about. And I know that's probably not the case, but I would like to imagine that is the case.
I know. It's like, where is my husband right now? Yeah. So I think for me, the relationship is sort of like your life is a fire, like a skillet, like a stove. And then I'm the skillet on top of the fire. So that's like all my experiences, everything that's happened to me, everything I remember, everything I don't remember subconsciously. And then the story is like the egg on top. So I am flavoring the egg with things I probably am not even aware of and will continue to be made aware of in the years that follow this conversation. I'm shaping the egg, I'm cooking the egg, but I am not in any way responsible for creating the egg, if that makes sense.
It just makes me hungry for breakfast, but still.
Clearly it's lunchtime while we're having this conversation, right? So I think for me, there are so many different connection points to this book, ranging from my love of performance and my dabbling with improv in my early 20s, 15 years ago, to my love of the Berkshires, which is where my parents live, to my love of the vineyard where I live. You don't write a book about a space whale if you don't have some kind of connection to the whaling industry.
Right.
So I think there are so many different small points, and then, bigger touch points as well. But ultimately, like, they're their own people, and I'm just sort of, omniscience is weird, right? Like, I'm both there and I'm not. Yeah. So it's my job to push them through on their journey and guide, but not overtake.
So I always ask authors this, and I'm going to ask you too. Was there, before you sat down in 23 and started this book, was there a beginning, a middle, and an end already? Or did you start writing and then this couple just sort of started to evolve?
Both. So I had tent poles I was writing to. Like, I think of writing a novel as crossing a very long desert in the dark by the light of your flashlight. So it's like you can only see so far, but you have to have, like, for me, it's helpful to have kind of a destination in mind. So I had tent poles. I knew certain things about Noah, the male protagonist, and I knew certain scenes I wanted to write towards. I wouldn't say it was necessarily as neat as beginning, middle, and end. And then I feel like, so my first book, my great love was Jane, my protagonist. I think it took me writing an entire draft of my second book to get over her. So I feel like really like learning AJ, who I adore, and I feel like I know her very well now. It took at least one draft. And then I sort of, once I figured her out, which was completely through trial and error, as you're saying, like getting into it with these two on the page, I then went back and redid it, sort of knowing her better. So it was a long development. Yeah,
that's great. And I'm always curious, do you miss these people once you leave it, when you shut the, I bet. I mean, I've asked so many people this, and it's really an interesting answer. Some authors say, I never want to meet them again. They just they've consumed my person so much that I need to get them out of my head. And then there's others, and you immediately responded, Emma. So that's obvious, that, oh yeah, I miss them so much. Would that ever lead you to a second book about them?
I think with AJ and Noah, I leave them off in a moment where I think it's good that we leave them there. I wouldn't say no to doing something where we get to see them in another book. Like, it's another cast of characters, but maybe they make a cameo, because I love them so much. Any excuse.
So I have the question that you will not want to be asked, which is, have you started thinking about your next book yet?
Right.
And
like,
how far, the publisher wants to know how far you're into it by now.
So clever of them to go through you.
Yes.
I'm idea dating right now. So I'm sort of doing a bit of writing on a few different things, kind of trying to see if any of them become something. And then, of course, you know how it goes. It's like I'll be dating these very responsible ideas, and then some crazy irresponsible one will come through, and I'll be like, that's it. That's the one. So we'll see.
Oh, my. You speak like the greatest author. I love that about you. I love your speak. It's so great. Listen, Reese Witherspoon. Hello. This is one of her book club books.
Now, has she optioned it yet into a film?
That's the next big question, right?
There is an option in the works. There's nothing I can share about it at this point, but yeah, keep your fingers and toes crossed. And yeah, it's not, the option isn't with Reese. So
Okay.
I feel like I should clarify that.
Yeah, but it's so cool.
So honored to be a part of her book club, and just the best.
That's
just the
great.
best.
That's so great. Your first book, this is so fascinating, and this really makes you a very complex person. I feel confident you know this. The first book, you wrote how many songs for the first book?
I think
was there 20? Do I remember?
It was like 40. Yeah, because I had a lot of different artists, and they each had multiple albums. So not everyone got a full album, but I needed to have I needed to have at least songs on 6 albums, I think it was. So it was a lot. But it's great because when you're writing that much volume, you can't get too precious about it. So as a first-time, not real songwriter, it was like, all right, we just need to like crank these out. And I think that was a really good exercise.
Now, a couple of them have been recorded, actually, right? Or have you recorded all of them? Because I've heard at least one of them.
Yes, we did one for promotion like 5 years ago for it was Wallflower.
Yeah,
so
well, that's exactly
still up somewhere in my social media.
Yeah. I just thought that I was like, wow, I have never in my life. That is so cool. That's such a neat thing. So, I mean, then you had to try to top that. No wonder this one took, like you said, a while to get there, right? So on your dating adventure, I mean, will you go in the same direction, or so far?
And does your husband approve of your dating adventure?
Is he okay with all this?
He knows where I am at night. Like maybe not in my head, but I really don't know. I think it's gonna have to be like, I want it to be something I connect with. Like I'm so proud of Into the Blue, and I'm so proud of Songs in Ursa Major that I want to be able to jump on something right away, like with every bone in my body, but I also want it to be something that I'm super proud of. So I really don't know what it's going to be, but that's part of the adventure. So
yeah. Well, it's awesome, and congratulations. Life on the Vineyard is good.
It's great. Oh man, yeah. This is the best time of year, shoulder season, because we're starting to open up again, but it's not super crowded yet. I love it. I love this time of year.
You want to get out there with your international no sign, don't you? Don't come.
No, we need them. We need them.
Well, right. You kind of need their dollars, right?
Right. The love-hate of tourists.
That's exactly right. The love-hate of tourists, that's for sure. All right. Emma Brodie, and the name of the book is Into the Blue. I'm so glad you could be part of Kerrigan and Company today. Thank you so very much. And obviously, this book can be found wherever you're getting your books. So continued success.
Thank you so much for having me. Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
You as well. All right, let's take a moment, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Chris a little bit more about some of the great places to travel this year if you're making some travel plans, like the Vineyard, for example. Mm-hmm. And then we'll wrap things up. Stay with us, everybody. This is Kerrigan and Company.
The rhythm is gonna get you. On Your Feet is the electrifying musical story of Emilio and Gloria Estefan, June 3rd through June 14th at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. Tickets at nsmt.org.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived. Life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Muther keeping me company today, and Emma Brodie. She was adorable.
Absolutely adorable. I can't wait to read the book.
The premise and the whole thing is just really great.
Yeah.
It's really great. And were you shocked to hear that she wrote 40 songs for the first book?
I was so impressed to hear that she wrote 40 songs.
When I first read that, I thought I'm not reading that correctly, and but as I got into it, it's almost like an alternate universe, and she literally became a songwriter for that book and included those song lyrics and all of it in the book.
It's so impressive because songwriting is a completely different beast than regular writing.
Absolutely.
Telling stories through songs is very different than telling stories.
100%. And she's a great storyteller, but then on top of it, she did that. No wonder it was a New York Times bestseller, right? Chris, we talked a little bit about the fact, number one, you're going to Korea, which is so cool. Now, tell me about that trip and what's planned and what's going to happen there.
It's interesting because I'm the kind of guy who likes to travel solo or, like with my husband or a friend or that sort of thing. And I'm not like a group trip kind of guy. So I thought I like to challenge myself. And I know some of our readers like to do sort of organized group things. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do an organized group tour. And I started looking, and this one is affiliated with National Geographic, and it sort of goes into the areas. It's much more sort of hands-on than, like, you're not sitting in a bus and going through towns. You're actually going out and interacting with people, which I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
So it's sort of through the country and kind of a look at it all. And yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, it's so great. Good for you. And then we'll read about it in the Globe.
Yeah, this one will be, I don't know, a few weeks down.
Sure.
Coming up is Barcelona very soon, this weekend. Will be in the Globe. So
great.
And online before that, obviously.
Sure.
So yeah, it's always a new destination.
Yeah. Talk about your favorite places to travel. And do you travel for fun?
People ask me, like, what do I do when I go on vacation?
Yeah.
I always want to say, sit on the sofa with my cat.
Yeah.
That was like my dream vacation. But I actually do travel. I went for fun. I went to Nashville for the first time a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was like it's like sort of Vegas with country music. Yep. And yeah, so I travel a lot to South Florida because that's where my husband's family is. So I know Miami very well. Yeah. And California because I have friends out there. So it's normally travel associated with catching up with folks.
Sure. Absolutely. And you do a lot of the travel that you do for the Globe alone.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, for me, it's second nature. And so when people say, oh, my God, what do you do when you sit alone in a restaurant? I think, I do what normal people do when it's funny because I'll be in a restaurant and I'll look over and see a couple and they're both on their phones. And I'm like, well, this is no different than what I'm doing. And I love my favorite things to do when I'm alone and eating at a restaurant, to sit at the bar and eat, and inevitably people will strike up a conversation, and then I can play investigative reporter and say, so what are your favorite places to go? Mm-hmm. And then I get like a better view of where the locals like to go, which is always better than anything that you read, except for my things, of course.
Of course. Favorite places to go? I know that you said this year, 2026, you had some ideas. Every year you do this for the readers, and you give them some suggestions on some really great places to go for the year. So what are a few of them this year?
It's funny you asked because I wrote this back in January, so now I'm trying to summon my powers. Greenland was a big one for me. I still haven't been. We had another writer go to write about Greenland and the political side of what was happening there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of spots where I often like to recommend. For instance, I was in Ireland.
Yes.
Last year to do a story about being a travel writer for the Boston Globe who has not been to Ireland before. But in running around and doing that story, there were parts of Ireland I didn't get to go to. So I decided that, I didn't get enough time in Cork. I had a night in Cork. And so I started reading more about it, and I'm like smacked myself in the head. Chris, what did you do? Why did you not go to Cork? It's like such a great place.
Sure.
Then, meanwhile, there are places like, local places like Waitsfield, Vermont, which I think is super charming. And, I try to include like New England places or local-ish places because anyone can say like exotic places, but not everybody is going to an exotic place.
It's one of the things I love about following you in the Globe. I have to be honest because think that you do exactly that, and I think it's important. I think it's smart. Not everybody is going to be, headed to Korea. Not everybody's going to go, and they want to hear what it's like, and they want to hear it through you because they trust your judgment because they've read you for such a long time. But I love that idea that you Vermont, and I know you frequently talk about. You go to hotels right here in Boston.
I do. I mean, one of my big things is reviewing hotels because people, weirdly, even if they're not going to stay at the hotel, if there's a new hotel, they want to know about it and or recommend it to friends or family who are coming to town. Like, I'm always curious about a new business that opens. So, hotels totally fit that bill. Yeah.
You bet. Worst place you've ever been?
I just was in Winnipeg. And Winnipeg isn't terrible, but it's terrible in March.
Yeah.
Because it's still winter. It's really still winter there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of really disappointing places that I've been. Normally I try to find the best in a place.
Sure.
Sometimes that's really difficult to do. I love, it's so funny because people always ask what are my favorite places. So those are always front of mind as opposed to worst places.
And what are some favorites?
One of my sort of least exotic but favorite is Montreal. I love Montreal so much. Yeah. I don't think it's like going to Europe at all. I think it's its own thing.
Yeah.
And there's always a new neighborhood. There's always a new restaurant. There's always a new something that I really love there.
Yep.
I often say Lake Como in Italy is one of my favorites. I think Italy in general, of course, is a great place to go. Yeah. But Lake Como is so special, and I have such great memories of renting a boat and going on the lake and going in front of George Clooney's house and yelling for him, thinking maybe he would come out and say hi. Didn't happen.
So that was one of the downsides.
That
of the
was the downside.
George Clooney was the downside.
For the first time ever, George Clooney was a downside. I really like Australia a lot.
Yeah.
It's, again, one of the great things about travel is there's always a new place to go.
Absolutely.
I'm always hearing someone will say, have you been to such and such a place, and how come you haven't been?
Sure.
So then I put it on the list of places to go.
Absolutely. And let me ask you one final thing. Any place that you've been frightened? You thought, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done this.
A lot of times those have to do with adventure travel.
I see.
There was one time that I was in Mexico and they had sort of strapped these things to my feet, which propel you upward with water. I don't know if you've seen them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Things like that, bungee jumping from a balloon, a hot air balloon, some things that maybe my mom, I don't tell her about until I'm home, or maybe never tell her about. Yeah.
For fear that you're going to do it again.
Yes.
You're going to do something equivalent. Yeah, that's for sure. And what's the best tip that you can give people right now when it comes to planning a trip? What would you highly suggest for people? Not even a location, but just a tip.
Yeah, I think going out of your comfort zone is always good. A lot of people sort of will repeat a place over and over, which I get. We find a place, we love it. But how will you know if you love a different place if you never try?
You bet.
And so that's what I always say to people. Just go somewhere new. And my other favorite thing to tell people is when you go to a place, get lost. Just don't go through a guidebook. Yeah. Sort of give yourself an afternoon to explore an area, and you never know what you're going to come across.
I think that's so true. Those are great words of advice. He's Chris Muther from the Boston Globe. I'm so glad you could be here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and safe travels.
I appreciate that,
my friend. And we'll look for your story about Korea and all of his stories. Recently, by the way, you write certainly about travel, but you write about other things too. I just read that the soundtrack from Pretty in Pink is
Yes,
a fabulous soundtrack.
Well, 40th anniversary,
Yeah.
Pretty in Pink, and one of the best soundtracks / forgotten mixtapes ever made. Yes.
I started going through it, and I was like, my goodness, I had forgotten a lot of these too, so good for you. You're still cool, Chris. Don't let anybody
Thank
tell you
you.
any different. Thanks a bunch for being here, and thanks to all of you for being here as well. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure that you subscribe, and we hope that you'll follow us on social. We'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.